Hi there, and welcome to this introduction to Easy Busy Pets. We've put together this video to give you a quick overview of our solution and how it can help streamline and grow your pet care business. We know your time is valuable, so we've created this as an alternative to a call with us. However, it's important to note that this video isn't exhaustive. There's much more to explore with Easy Busy Pets. If you want to dive deeper into how we can support your business, please don't hesitate to reach out to us directly through our website at easybusypets.com. We'd love to connect with you and answer any further questions. Enjoy the video. We're going to start by walking you through the client booking experience. What you will observe is a stage where the client has already completed their sign-up process with your business, including filling out important electronic forms like terms of service, vaccination records, veterinary information, and any other details your business requires. Because they've already provided this information, they can now easily proceed with making a booking. Here we have a mobile phone. It could be a tablet. It could be a PC that the pet owner is accessing. That would be your logo. The pet owner would find themselves at one of our off-the-shelf pet portals. They have a quick link, set of buttons, pets they own, historic invoices, various appointments that they've had booked, and some pictures and videos that you shared in the past. There's more to this interface, but we're going to focus on the booking of various services: full grooming booking, dog walking booking, and one for overnight. I'm going to choose Daisy as a pet to book for a grooming appointment. I call it full grooming, but every business has a different name and different categories for that matter. Perhaps the options would be by facility or area of a city. And so I'm going to add some dematting as an add-on for my full grooming booking. Here's Daisy once again, the dog that I'd like to book. If I choose the 20th, what time works for me? Some of these times are grayed out. Why? Because the system has availability technology. It checks for which groomers are available for certain times of the day that you're requesting and whether they're capable of doing the job or not. For example, if you're both a dog walking and a dog grooming business, you don't necessarily want the system to consider a dog walker for a professional groom. That said, there are no groomers available for the drop-off at 8:30, so I have to choose another. It's a facility, in this case, a salon. If you were a mobile groomer, then the options would be different here. So the pet owner has no choice. They go to the next section. There may be a stage where you ask them various questions. And at the end, they come to a point where they see a summary of what's to be done. The pricing is listed, including the add-on, the pet, and the groomer that's going to be handling the job. What's unique about our solution is that the service decides what the price is and what the duration is based on how you've asked it to think about the attributes of the pet. For example, small, medium, large dogs, they all have different prices in the grooming industry. But in your case, you might have all kinds of different attributes that you wanted to consider. So you have that flexibility. With that in mind, this service has been configured to ask for a deposit. Looks like 10% here. I'm going to go ahead and pay it as a customer. This is a real Visa, so we're going to be doing a real transaction. It always asks for tips. Unless you don't want it to, you can just turn it off on the service level and it won't ask. Once the job is booked and paid for, it's confirmed, and even Bob, the groomer, has received a notification of the job. In this case, there's no option to cancel. When you set up your business with Easy Busy Pets, you can use our cancellation rules feature to decide how the system should offer cancellation options to the pet owner. Perhaps they're not allowed to cancel within 24 hours, or maybe there's a 50% charge if they do so within 3 hours of the time of the service. It's up to you. Let's make another booking. Let's choose Daisy for a dog walk in this case. you'll notice some differences right away. 30-minute dog walk, Daisy. The time options are different. Why? Because the grooming service was set up with labels, words, morning, afternoon, midday, let's say 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in ranges. Those are called labels, whereas here we just have start time options. It's up to you how you want it to look. In this case, it's even in 24 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a ongoing service request that will run forever until I cancel it as a pet owner every Wednesdays and Fridays. On Wednesdays, I want a dog walk at 11:30 and 4 p.m. and another single dog walk at 1:30 on Fridays. Here's a confirmation, at least for the next 2 months, what it's going to look like. The client can actually change things up if they want to here as well. And they click next. The home address is the selection of the location in this case. And there's a question entry here as well in this stage of the booking. Finally, we come to a stage where it shows the price and it repeats weekly. It is a request in this case. You can also make it a deposit type of service too. Typical for pet sitting and dog walking is a request accept method of booking for pet owners and managers respectively. In this case, I can cancel as well. Finally, we'll make another booking. This time we'll do something for boarding type of appointments. We do have capabilities for kennels and runs, and we also have just general overnights. Overnight, Daisy. It's just that the calendar system looks a little bit different. It's designed for overnight type of bookings per night, not per 24 hours. Let's say I want to arrive on the 19th. Here's a label, not a start time, and leave at 7 a.m. on the 26th. My home address. If it's boarding at your location, then you can, for example, hard code that location here. The client wouldn't be able to choose anything. Or perhaps you want a pickup option and then a destination address. The flexibility is there for one to configure such. Once again, the stage where you can ask them questions. Usually there's some additional details that are requested in this kind of a service, things like medications or feeding instructions. And then you have that final summary page. Interesting note, it's per night, not per 24 hours or anything like that. And we also have a request format. So what we're going to do right now is switch over to the manager view. It's worth noting that end user, the manager, staff, clients, can access the services on all internet-enabled devices. That includes personal computers, tablets, and mobile devices. I'm going to use a personal computer as an example for the manager view, but it's in no way limited to a large screen. And in my demonstrations, I'm going to be showing you the parallels. Today's demonstration is going to be using a sample business called countryboardinganddaycare.com. When I type in the URL, it takes me straight into my manager login, and I'm able to immediately start actioning on things from client and pet management of their details and data, invoicing, scheduling, managing my services, memberships, and packages, website technology, and staff management. Just a little note on websites. Yes, we are also a website builder, and that is currently out of scope of this video, but please note that you are welcome to contact us to learn more. Hosting is included as part of subscriptions to Easy Busy Pets, and we have a website builder that integrates with your operations. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly summarize our calendar system. We have 6 different kinds of calendars. One of them is dedicated to runs creates kennel types of applications. Then we are currently looking at monthly view, which is everything listed, whether it's a request, which is in yellow, something that's in progress, which is in blue, or green, that's completed. When it hasn't started yet, but it's officially part of your calendar, it's great. You can narrow down the type of services. You can also narrow down whether it's upcoming or completed or so on. As you go down the scale of the different types of calendar systems, more data starts to appear. Let's look at the weekly view, for example. These are my employees and what they're up to for the current week, which you can switch between weeks quite quickly. In this case, I can narrow it down by staff as well. And I can also narrow down the service and see various details, various contextual details, like what's upcoming, what's requested. I can further drag and drop jobs. I've done so here between the 17th and the 16th, between worker John and Sam. Next, we show the agenda view. Agenda was designed for quick action. You have a list of all your appointments, your customers, their pets. Appointments can have multiple customers. There is a column here describing the name of the service and the worker involved. That's the address. If you clicked on this while you're looking at it from a mobile phone, it would take you straight to your navigation. And the most powerful part of this view, the action control options right here. These offer you the same controls that you would if you were to view the appointment directly. Here's the 30-minute dog walk, and there's the overnight request for the day of the 18th. There's another day view that's used by dog groomers a lot more. It's the workers at the top versus the time on the left. And they like this because they like to move the jobs around to fit them in better. It's also useful for daycare operators. Finally, we have a dashboard, which is fully configurable. Here's a sample of one where I can see what's going on during the week. It does data comparisons on my performance compared to a certain region of time. I can narrow down staff, categories of work, and status here as well. My requests have come in here. Let's accept the 30-minute dog walk, for example. And what's really neat about this view is it's like the daily agenda, but just gives you more data, more input. And you can interact with the dashboard, not just by adding photos and videos, just like you can with all those other potential views, but also there's a checklist. You design what this checklist is. In my case, I've put together a checklist that I fed Daisy during this dog walk, and it comes in as a checked off item on the checklist within the appointment. Jobs can be checked in and checked out. Here's an example job with 3 pets. I'm going to check them in and it turns blue. If I want to, I can check them out and it turns green. By green, the color of the appointment, not the button on the right. Let's accept the pet sitting overnight request as well. And now it's part of the appointment list. We see here the full grooming job with the dematting on the 20th. It's already in my calendar because I accepted a deposit automatically from the client. I can view the appointment here, just like I can from any of my other calendar views, by clicking on the time. When you're viewing an appointment, you have various controls and options. It already has an invoice as part of this appointment. It can still, however, be invoiced. Why? Because if I click on this invoice here, I'll notice that it was just a small deposit. It didn't make up the full amount. The system took a deposit payment from me as a pet owner when I was booking this job from the mobile phone. Here's an example of how you can actually refund the customer. Test refund. You can refund cash, check, other, and you can do partial amounts too. I've just sent the money back to that credit card. And here's the record of it happening. Now, let's go back to the schedule here for a moment and look at things on the weekly basis and narrow it down to just grooming. Here's the job on the 20th. If I click it here, once again, it'll open up the same appointment with the same list of invoices. If you're wondering what these details are, they're completely unique to my setup and wouldn't be the same with yours because you would decide what you want to show under the pet's name and under the client's name in your appointments. There's two-way communication as well. This is the button to click if you want to switch into it from here. Or you can click it here and do the same. Here's a conversation I'm having with Stephanie, the client. Test message going out. Now, before I throw that out there, I'm also going to show you the phone where she receives this notification because she would be receiving it through SMS text. There it is. Test message going out. Now, she would respond potentially with whatever's important to her. And here it is coming back. You can also send various attachments, pictures, videos, whatever's important to you. Let's run one of these jobs via the mobile phone instead. Before I mentioned that the solution works on all internet-enabled devices. So let's, for example, log in as Jane and start this 30-minute dog walk. All right, switching over to the mobile phone for the very same account we're looking at in the background. That's actually the weekly view. And that's the 30-minute dog walk for the 20th. Let's look at the daily agenda. Change it to the 20th. And here's the 30-minute dog walk. So we're going to go ahead and check in to this job. It's just warning me that it's not within the current time range as it is a couple of days ahead. That's okay. So here we are back to our daily agenda. I'm actually going to go into the appointment for this part of the demonstration. Though remember, you can do it in the dashboard as well. When you're looking at the appointment, you can actually see there are some icons here for picture, video, and notes. I'm going to use that. And I'm going to go ahead and upload a video. I'm going to take a video of my dog. Be right back. All right, let's see this video. All right, so we're going to use this video. And we're going to add a note. Daisy hunting squirrels. You can add many videos and many pictures in rapid succession this way. Now, earlier, I showed the interface for clients and how their pet portal has pictures and videos. It would show this there already. Now, you don't have to communicate these videos and pictures from the appointment, which shows up on the people's pet portals. You can also use your chat to communicate pictures and videos. Sometimes it's nice to do it in real time versus via appointment. And you can add a photo right now, although you can add links and other types of files too. Here's another photo of Daisy. Chat can be used via any solution, via any device. And here's an example of how that was just centralized across the PC and the mobile phone as well. Now it's time to talk about invoicing and billing. If you want to, you can let the system handle everything automatically, and we'll get to that topic. For those that are used to doing things a little bit more manually, here are some examples on how you can invoice a client. So this job has an option to invoice. If there was a deposit, that's okay. The system allows you to invoice the remaining amount until it's fully paid off. That is, the appointment is fully paid off. So here I am clicking invoice, and it generates a draft bill. The draft has the details of what went down and a link to the appointment. If I go back here to the appointment from the invoice, the appointment itself will be the same one you saw earlier, but no invoice option. Instead, it has the invoice listed in it. I'm going to click it to go back to that bill. When you have a bill that's in draft mode, you can actually keep adding to it if you want to. In fact, if I were to book some more services for this client, or if the client booked themselves in, then those items would also appear here and accumulate until that point that it's no longer a draft. That is the stage where I send it, which means they receive it, the pet owner, to pay with their credit card that they might have on file or a new one. Or I can send it to them and charge their card automatically here. Or I can mark it as paid by check, cash, or other forms of payments like e-transfer. I'm going to charge their card. And in this case, I'll do the full amount. If they were to pay, they would also see these options. Because I'm doing it as the manager, they might be asking me to add a tip. So for example, I might add the 15% as per their request. You can also have machines, the point of sale credit card acceptance machines. You just select them from this list and they would pop up with the stage where it asks for the credit card to charge for the bill. And so I'll choose the Visa here in this case and set it to pay that final amount of $39.39. For those who are wondering about the credit card surcharge, totally normal for all credit card transactions that there's a merchant fee. You have the power to choose whether you want the client to pay for it or you would cover the fee on your side. Here's the final paid bill by Stephanie, the client, and the list of full payments or partial payments are here below. Once again, I can refund this one too. Where do all these bills reside? They're completely linked to all the appointments that are within them. But at the same time, if you go to invoices here, you'll see that they've also been listed here chronologically. I can narrow it down by all kinds of stages. And there is an option to narrow it down by clients and date ranges and so on and so forth. The Easy Busy Pet system allows you to do things semi-automatically or fully automatically. The semi one is right here. It's called Smart Invoicing. All it does is tell you who owes you money, how much, within a certain period of time. It accounts for things like memberships and package credits, special pricing, whether services were partially paid for already with deposits, to name a few. And it lists them here, depending on how you set it. Could be thousands. And all those people could be given a draft bill in one shot or sent so that they could use their credit cards on their side to pay it, or simply charged with the card that's on their file. We have the feature where you can enforce credit cards to be on their file. So when they sign up to be your customer, it wouldn't let them proceed without having at least one credit card on file. And that's what you're seeing here. Two clients owe me $266 respectively, and he would generate the draft bill. Let's go ahead and do that. Generate a draft bill here. What happened was those two people got draft bills started for them. The items that make up the $200, for example, for this client Max, could be one, it could be more, start getting listed here. Same for the other client. What changed is that if I go back to the smart invoicing, there's nobody that owes me money. And this is actually the best practice. You don't want people owing you money. So you can look to this feature to ensure that no one owes you money and everything's accounted for. You could even go into the future. And once again, somebody pops up here because there are things she is booked for that she would in turn owe me money for, but I can charge for those things right now. A total of $3,388.50. It's because I moved up to November 8th. Now, all these options that I thought about, which clients, which services, I can get the system to control that automatically, which leads me to the fully automated invoicing. I'm going to go ahead to payment settings and show you a little bit about the auto invoicing feature. This is one of the pillars of our technology. I want a weekly billing rule. You can really make this your own. At 7 p.m. every Monday, I want not all services, but maybe just the new ones that I create in dog walking. All those services, actually, all those except the meet and greet. I want specific clients or all my clients. There's a lot of different options here to be charged in a certain way. I can just have it create draft bills. I can have it create a draft bill and send them the bill so that they can pay it on their side. Or I can have Easy Busy Pets create the bills and charge all the cards on file automatically every week on Mondays at 7 p.m. There are quite a lot of rules here that I've created just for demonstrations. You can also run it now, pause it, or make updates to those rules. We do not limit you on how many rules you make, so you can really automate the way your system bills the client on a regular basis. And it can really save you a lot of time. So highly recommended pillar of our solution. Staff management is the next part of our solution to explore. In my example here, I have 4 people that work for me. Bob is one of them. And if I view his profile, he has availability settings, permission settings, and services to name a few. The availability is something he can set or I would set on his behalf. If you don't want to give Bob that permission, no problem. There's over 100 permissions on what Bob can do with his interface to the system. Every single day, you can create multiple ranges of time when he's actually available for work. There's special hours that he's off. And then he also has his own personal integration with Google Calendar. When he's logged into his staff management account, he will have the option to flow in all the busy times when he can't run with jobs. For example, he might have a doctor's appointment or might need to pick up his kids from school. That would override the availability settings here so that pet owners see times that are truly available for Bob to handle their pets. Permissions, there's over 100 of them now. They range from billing to clients to form management to pet management, scheduling management, and communications, and so on and so forth. You need to set up every staff member with the right permissions. And finally, every staff member also has the services that they're capable of handling. Dog walkers are not groomers. Groomers are not necessarily cleaners at one of the kennel stalls, and so on. There's tips and payroll as well, but that's an advanced topic. So please reach out to your rep to learn more about how that works downstream from all of this. Another pillar of Easy Busy Pets is automated client reviews. And I'll show you what that looks like. So here's an email that came to the client That's the report card. If they click this, they'll see all the updates that you made, notes, pictures, videos, GPS check-in locations and checkout locations. And this would be your wording, and it can come in at a regular interval. It's up to you. There's various options when you set up the automated client reviews. If they click yes, it could take them to Google. It could take them to your Facebook review site. In this case, it's using our internal feature technology as well, but they do still have options to go to those other review sites as well. So they'll say something like, great job, Bob, or whatever the review would be, confirm that they are real people, and submit. Where does this go? Let's check the business website. Reviews. Great job, Bob. Reviews are a very powerful feature. They help prospective customers decide whether their pets are safer and better off with you versus your competitors. They look for things like how many reviews you have, how recent they are, and you can manage your reviews as well. You can turn the ones off that you don't like, and you can respond to ones that require some sort of clarification. Especially if they're public, it's nice to have that a feature. And so here are a list of my sample reviews we received from various clients. I can hide them, I can respond to them, and see which appointments they're regarding. The best part of this feature is that it asks the client at the perfect time, right when the job is done. We also offer membership and package technology. Packages are tools that you can use for very simple discounts like 11 full grooms for the price of 10. And membership is typically used by trainers and daycare facilities. For example, you can offer people to add to cart and purchase up to 3 daycares a week for that month, and then it would renew on their credit card on a monthly basis. That's an example of a membership. It's a very powerful tool. And again, an advanced topic that we highly recommend you reach out to your rep to learn more about. And I have some examples here where I've set them up. Easy Busy Pets also offers product inventory management so that you can offer online shopping carts, for example, for your customers. Here's an example of what that might look like from a user experience perspective. Shop is a page and the clients can actually add to cart and buy. When the client purchases these items, the inventory management will also notify you, for example, that you're currently running out if it's below a certain threshold of product count. Group events are also a really important feature for group dog walkers or group classes that are handled by trainers, like a puppy class, for example. I'm going to show you what that might look like for pet owners joining such classes. When a pet owner logs into their pet portal, they may see a class schedule, your class schedule. And here's an example of something that was just quickly put together just to show you that they can join an open group puppy class that's currently scheduled for the 26th at 2 p.m. If it wasn't open or the capacity was full, it would say red waitlist. So they can join it and be part of the waiting list that you accepted decline to be part of that group class. Thank you for taking the time to watch this introduction to Easy Busy Pets. We hope this video has given you a glimpse into how our software can make running your pet care business easier and more efficient. Remember, this is just a brief overview. There's more that Easy Busy Pets can do to help you save time, improve client relationships, and grow your business. If you're interested in learning more or have specific questions, we'd love to hear from you. Visit us at easybusypets.com to get in touch and schedule a personalized demo. We look forward to connecting with you soon.